Hello. Welcome. The show began before we came on air. There's been a heated discussion going on in the studio here. But we are glad that you're here. This is Uganda at Crossroads. My name is Moses Mokitali, and we're broadcasting to you live from the city of Massachusetts. And we are here in Waltham. And we are looking at nothing else but the political situation of the country of Uganda, our motherland, where we all come from. I have an interesting panel today. That's why maybe when we came on air, we were still talking in the background. It's three people that we're going to be discussing with today in the studios. And I'm going to give them a chance to introduce themselves. I'll begin from my immediate right. Sarah Joy, introduce yourself, and we shall go on with the rest of the squad as it is today.
Good evening. Good evening, our viewers who are watching us from East Coast, West Coast, Africa, people who are watching us from Europe, Canada, people who are watching us from all over the world. Good evening. Happy birthday belated birthday to my president-elect. It was so disappointed that I'm off social media till about 2 days. I'll be back in 2 days that I couldn't wish him a happy birthday. But I'm glad when I come back, it will be the first thing I will do to wish me a happy birthday.
Amen.
And to every Ugandan who is still strong and ready to pursue and get the freedom that we deserve as Ugandans.
All right. Mr. Mukasa, introduce yourself to our viewers. I'm glad you're here. You finally, it's my first time to have you on the show.
Yep.
So we are glad you're here.
Yeah, I'm an old timer on the show, though I've taken some time not coming back due to unavoidable circumstances. Yeah, my name is Richard Mukasa. I speak on behalf of the NRM here in Boston. I'm glad to see you, and I say happy birthday to former presidential candidate. He's not my enemy, he's just an opponent. It was a political fight. It ended, unfortunately, it didn't end the way people expected, some people expected. Yeah, life is a disappointment. We get disappointments, but we go on, life goes on.
Thank you so much. Mr. Mukasa is not trusting us, so he has his mask on,
yeah,
which is a good thing. Derek, yeah. It's also my first time to have you on the show.
Show his face.
Oh, he's scared to show his face.
Okay, this is my face, but this is my face. Anybody wants to see my face? This is my face. Listen, this is my face, but I am very scientific. Some people are not.
Okay.
Yes.
Derek, it's an honor to have you. Introduce yourself to our viewers, and we shall start the show officially.
All right. Thank you so much. Yes, like you said, my name is Derek Mobiru, and I'm the Assistant Coordinator, NUP People Power, in the Massachusetts state, and as a chapter in People Power, we call it the Greater Boston chapter, which covers the greater New England, inclusive of the 5 states. And I'm glad to be here.
Yeah.
I would echo a little bit on the birthday message. Personally, myself, I'm glad that we kind of share the birth year with the president.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and every year that he accumulates or he adds on, I look at myself and I'm like, yes. Right. And that's why his achievements, his struggles, and his progress kind of not only interests me, but affects me directly. So whatever he's going through, even right now, my colleague here says that I'm glad he can recognize him that he was a candidate, because often a time he's been dismissed from the beginning. Not knowing right now he's in court contesting for the results from the presidential elections. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mukasa, I'm going to give you the first opportunity to speak to our viewers. It's your first time on the show. I just want you to bring us to speed with what your role is. You said you are the NRM coordinator, or no, spokesperson for Boston.
Yeah.
So you are the Ofonopondo for NRM in Boston, right?
Yeah.
Bring us up to speed with, your work in Boston.
Our work is to make sure our party's image is not soiled, because there's a lot of propaganda going on. And there's a big effort to make sure they smear the party, they smear the government. I don't speak for the government. I speak for my party, which I love dearly. So I want to make sure the picture is clear, because there's a lot of editing, a lot of falsehoods, because people have an opinion. And not only an opinion, they have a side. And then there's a lot of hogwash that goes on the social media. Not only that, I saw people going up Capitol Hill, the bastion, the citadel of democracy, trying to, going by a lie. There was a lie going out there that the election was stolen. And everything was cleared. The courts dismissed all the cases. Still, people claimed the election was stolen. And then there's a lot of falsehood that was going on out there, that the Democrats are pedophiles and that and this. And Clinton was painting it in a bad picture. He stole money from Haiti, and it's the same thing going on in my country. So a lot of youth are kind of misguided. So they are misguided because they watch social media. Social media is one form of medium that is not regulated. A lot of nonsense, hogwash, falsehoods are on social media. So the young brains do not take it easy, do not sieve. They don't have a sieve to see what's the truth and what's wrong. So by coming up here, I try to put the record straight. What happens in Uganda, something happens, and then it is exaggerated. If there's one isolated case, then they bring pictures from Congo, they bring from Nigeria. Now, there was an army in Congo, there was a war, and the soldiers were killing people. People said, you see, the UPDF is doing this. Yes, at times the UPDF goes through exercise because they're human beings and they are annoyed. People stone them, people do this and do that. Then they retaliate. Then when they retaliate, which they are not supposed to do because they are paid. A soldier and a policeman are paid. A civilian can do whatever, but a civilian has to be arrested. And a soldier cannot behave like a civilian does. But then they are human beings. Sometimes I put in the human factor. Okay? But then what has to be put in line and corrected is that it's not a government policy. And any soldier who misbehaves has to be arrested. Any soldier. Even if he's who. That's why you see we have generals who have never even hurt a fly. If you can show me one general that has, I remember there was a case of Charlie Gonza on, they say he slapped a police. He did not. They even went to court. Just one general, one. If a general does one thing, it's headlines, the whole world. There is an echo chamber of exaggeration out there. So they try to make it, desperate people clinging on to even a floating straw. That's what I discovered the opposition is in Uganda. They're desperate. Every small thing they see, they have to expound it, exaggerate it, and put it out there in their bubble, and it explodes. And that's why the young people pick their messages. And
I just want you to bring me again back to speed with the structure of the NRM in Boston or in the diaspora.
Yes.
I mean, we've hosted several NUP, individuals who have given us a clear structure and system and how they run.
Yes.
Tell us about the structure of NRM. Do you have a system here?
We have a chairman here, Mr. Kamia. I don't know if you know him.
No, I don't know.
Okay, Mr. Kamia is our chairman around here. We have the Secretary General, Mr. Camporolo, and we have others in other. We are the membership of NRM just in Boston is over 800 people. Must be
about 5 people.
No, that's what you know. I have them here. I can show you.
They can.
Like, how do you meet? Do you have meetings?
Yeah, we have meetings. We even have forums.
It's just that I've never had a chance to interact
with us, so yes.
I don't know what you do and where you operate from.
We do, what we do, we meet, we make strategies. Sometimes we meet. The problem is there are radicals on the other side. There's a time we met in Westin Hotel. There's one radical, FDC radical, who came there shouting. We had dinner. He came shouting,
Yes.
that was a lot of nonsense.
But are you funded by the government?
No, we fund ourselves.
You're not funded?
No.
And can I?
No,
Maybe
can they give me a chance? I will give them a chance to talk.
Yeah, okay.
It is my time.
All right,
Yes.
I have a final question
Yes.
before we start. I want to ask you about the impression you have from the elections that
Yes.
just concluded in Uganda.
Yes.
According to you, were they free and fair?
Okay, according to me, the circumstances were not normal. They were abnormal. Now, in an abnormal circumstances, you have an abnormal election.
Like what made it abnormal?
Yeah, because we had the COVID. There were COVID guidelines, there were laws and there were rules. And some people were in the defiance mode. They decided to defy the rules and regulations.
How is internet
No,
connected
can
with
she be
COVID?
quiet for 1 minute? I'll give her a
Okay,
chance.
yes, okay.
Yeah.
Go
So there are rules and regulations. So if you don't follow the rules and regulations, you're going to engage the police. You see what I mean? If you go out there and you say, me, I will not follow those rules after you signed them, because before they made your candidate, there are rules you signed. And you say, I will abide by this, I'll do this, I'll do this. If you don't, you will have to engage the police. If you engage the police, you don't know the outcome.
Okay.
Yeah, it was an abnormal election held in abnormal circumstances.
But are you convinced with the results and
No,
everything?
my conviction is on the day of the elections, where did the people vote free and fair. On the election day, there was not a single arrest, except somebody who are trying to play shenanigans. It was peaceful. Everybody who went around saw it. There was not a single reported incident of somebody being beaten. Or even the police on that day did not have guns.
And how about the internet issue? Do you
Yes,
think that was
with
normal
the
also?
internet issue, I just told you. Young people and the propagandists, the people who are trying to destabilize Uganda, are always out there sending falsehood. Long before even the election were finished, somebody posted pictures of 2011 when the people were fighting with the policeman on the ballot box. He said, oh, in Mbale, already they are cheating the election. We told him, no, that incident was in Mbale in 2011. He just shut down immediately.
Anyway,
Yes.
regardless of what we say about the election, I want
Yes.
us to focus right now on the major topic of the day, and that is going to be the EU sanctions.
Before you go to the EU sanction, if you can just allow me, because
Okay,
when we
you have-
start, I'm not a politician. I'm an activist, and sometimes, my blood boils up, especially when I sit in the diaspora with people who support President Museveni, and they paint a picture, everything is very good back home, and you wonder, why aren't you back home where things are good? Why are you stuck in a country where right now we are undergoing snow right now? There is a lot of death of COVID. He's wearing a mask. In Uganda, they're not wearing masks.
Mukasa says he's doing well in America.
He's doing in a country where over 400,000 people have died of COVID. Yet in Uganda, they have cases of only almost like 10 people dying of COVID. Who would be in Uganda? Enjoying the sun, enjoying the good democracy he's talking about, enjoying the good food, enjoying everything. But he's stuck in America doing cheyo like any other Ugandan. So there are things I want to address here and for every Ugandan to understand. I don't want anyone to fool Ugandans to compare the election of America to the elections of Uganda. The election of America is completely organized by an independent body. Those running have nothing to do with the election. Those running have nothing to do with the election. They are participants and they do not determine what comes out of the election. They are independent bodies that man these elections. That's why every time, for the time I used to see the things President Trump was saying, and I was worried. I'm like, America is raising a dictator. Me being born in a country, and I've only seen one president, that is President Museveni. I was so scared. I'm like, do the Americans know what they're doing? If they let this guy come back, they are raising a dictator in their own country. And this guy, if they don't stop him now, he may not be able to go away. So don't compare the politics of America to the politics of Uganda, where President Museveni is the one who chooses the Electoral Commission. The army and police do not get involved in the politics, in the voting of America. Not anywhere. In fact, they also cast their votes just like any other person. In Uganda, we saw throughout the campaigns, A day before the campaigns, you saw mambas, everything, choppers, all paraded in Kampala. We've seen videos, real-time videos of police at polling stations, police and armed at polling stations. We've seen videos of ballots being ticked. And these people are not speaking any other language apart from Luganda and the Runyankole we know. You know? So let's not compare. Let's not even confuse people who are watching us and compare these two elections. These two elections were completely, one is very democratic, one is far away from the word democracy. And I'm going to add on. Because
Mukasa is entitled to his opinion.
He's entitled to, I understand he's entitled to his opinion, but let him not confuse people who are watching us.
According to him, it's the same.
It is not. It is not. Let him not confuse people who are watching us, because we've been here, and let him not confuse people who are watching us with opinions that are full of falsehoods. Even when President Trump said he had been rigged of an election, he went through different courts. And of which the courts he has no control, because since he was a sitting president, if he had control, he would have influenced. Just like you see right now, Honorable Kyagulanyi is in court, you know, disputing the election. But you saw the next day, Dombo, the Chief Justice, is coming from State House. A day before they start the seating and all this, Museveni meets the judiciary. So it is, he's one man running the show. If it was all up to Trump, he would be president again, because all these judges and all that would have given him the leeway.
I want to...
Before you go to that, let me also address a little bit what he mentioned here. He's talked of some of the videos that are people parading out there are coming from, other countries. Please don't fool Ugandans. We are lucky that the campaign trail of Honorable Kyagulanyi had cameras and people were able to see what was happening in real time. We saw what happened in real time. We saw tear gas. We saw what happened. Right now, my friend Dan Magic lost teeth. Yeah. But that grenade was thrown from a police car in real time. Tell me what Photoshop is that? Right now, you have Ashraf, who has just come back from the hospital. He almost lost his life. That was in real time.
Sure.
A grenade, that was a tear gas canister. That was meant for Honorable Kyagulanyi, thrown at him, real time. Look at how Frank was murdered. He was knocked down and the police were denying. Until when, after videos coming out, and even after NBS went back to the real scene and people who are operating in the market, real said this is what happened. A police vehicle, the number plate, people had it, and this was an UPDF vehicle that had knocked down. And so I was so disappointed when I had President Museveni. And remember, for me, I'm speaking with pain. He must have seen another president. I've only seen one president. And I have a lot of pain and anger over this one man who has ruled the country and ruined it. I read about President Amin. And I'm telling you, the things I read about President Amin and the things I've heard, I'll tell you, I would take Amin 100 times, because at least Amin loved the country. Amin loved Uganda, for starters. He have done everything he did, but at least he had Uganda at heart. But you have a dictator who does not even love his own country. No wonder he has been able to tell us now and then that he's working for himself, his family, and children. So if we get NRM apologists, and these guys are on a payroll, I'm telling you, these guys are on a payroll, they always get taxpayers' money, and they live on taxpayers' money. They always go to Kampala, collect money from State House Kampala, and come here and lie to President. Recently they sent, I don't know if he's part of the team, they came, recently they met President Museveni and a team that was headed by Walusimbi, I think Katende something. Yeah. They came here lying that we are going to, we sanitize the diaspora and tell the diaspora the good thing of NRM. My dear, there is nothing, and let me speak on behalf of the diaspora. Sebo, I'm a master's degree holder. I have a bachelor's degree, which I attend from Sikkim and Pal University, India. I have a postgraduate in tax and revenue administration. I have a master's degree in business administration. I specialized in marketing, which I obtained from Sikkim and Pal University. Don't think we are fools. Don't think I love being here. I have situations, conditions that made me be in America, in a place where there is winter, in a place where living in a situation in the conditions I live in. So don't think we are fools. Don't abuse us. We are educated, we are smart people, but we are here because we cannot stand the situation in Uganda. We cannot stand being educated. You are a master's degree holder, but you can't even find a simple job of a tea girl. All the jobs of tea girls, even a simple job of a cleaner, it is done by a Munyankole or someone connected to a minister. Please, don't abuse our intellect. We are intelligent people. We are educated people. We are more educated than people in the government. My qualifications are bigger than President Museveni. President Museveni doesn't have a degree. I have a master's degree. So respect us. When you're speaking on things that hurt Ugandans, I don't know how old you are, but as a person who has never seen any other president and has been on the regime of President Museveni, put some respect. When you're speaking and painting a picture thinking we are all fools, these videos don't come from Kenya, don't come from, you know. I have a friend of mine, Dan Magic, lost teeth. He's in prison right now, I speak to him. Yesterday, a guy was with Honorable Chagulanyi, his leg is off. Who cut off his leg? Do you think people just enjoy to let their legs be cut off? People don't have arms. People have lost their lives. You cannot.
It takes us to the discussion of the day that I want us to focus on because of time. I hope that all of you, wherever you are, maybe if you're not able to catch up with the activities going on in Uganda, I'm going to read for you a very short statement that was released this week by the European Union in which they passed a resolution to pass sanctions against Uganda because of the recently concluded elections. I just want to quote, read it for you verbatim so that I don't make any mistake quickly. On Thursday, the EU Parliament passed a resolution saying the recently concluded Uganda election was not democratic. Police and soldiers used excessive force, and detainees should be released. The election process was not democratic at all, and it was not transparent either, the resolution said, and it condemned the security forces for the brutality and interference in the politics. Sanctions against individuals and organizations responsible for human rights violation must be adopted. They identified key individuals, though I don't have the names here. And the EU lawmakers, you know, they called, it followed a similar plea from the US congressman who asked Washington to impose sanctions on 7 Ugandan security officials for alleged rights violation. The resolution was endorsed by 632 votes, with only 15 against and 48 abstentions. Finally, the imposition of sanctions would be a major blow to Ugandan government operations, since the EU is Uganda's biggest development partner and gives us more than 500 billion shillings in aid every single year. The EU individual members also gives us substantive funding to Uganda, and we also saw the UK this week coming out to cut funding to security forces in Uganda. I mean, it's a big, it's a long, you know, report that was released this week, in which they instructed the presidents, you know, and all the other countries that are under the EU to pass sanctions and cut off funding, if possible, to Uganda. I'll begin with you, Mr. Derek Mubiru. What do you make of these sanctions, and how do you think these are going to affect, first of all, Uganda, but also maybe help us get out of this, the situation we found ourselves into?
Thank you so much. As people power, this has been our outcry for a long time. Getting to the stakeholders and the funders of the government that has been in power for 35 years with a leader who has been in leadership for over 40 years. And he still wants more. And the hunger that he has for leadership, it's like he came in power yesterday. He's so brutal that he's ready to do anything to get hold of power. He doesn't trust anyone in his life, not even his own son. I was telling people that probably his son was such, maybe, I don't know if dense would be a good expression, but he's such a dense person that his dad cannot trust anyone in his age bracket to hand over leadership to any person, because he's using his son as a catalyst. He's looking at him as, if this is how they behave, if this is how they think, then I'm still the wannabe. I'm the one and only. And this is the challenge we are getting as a nation. And when we come to the EU, I mean, I'll frankly say that even here in US, we've made all the necessary phone calls to any stakeholder, any funder. Good enough, he comes out to even suspend the NGOs in Uganda. But guess what? That has been also our outcry as well. Because who is benefiting in the NGOs? People down the streets, people locally. All they can get, maybe I've seen some power dams, boreholes, being donated by Danida, a tap by Danida. And I'm like, is this really what Danida from Denmark comes here to also be proud of their contribution in our country? Small as a tap, you know? I'm like, how much does it cost? Is this hoodwinking that we have alternative source of empowerment to the citizen of Uganda, leaving out the government contribution or responsibility? Because we're looking at the work being done versus who is responsible for what has been done by somebody else. So NGOs have been in Uganda, but when we look at their impact on the grassroots, on the person at home, the citizen, the normal, ordinary citizen, does not benefit that much. All they can get is a pad. They've given out pads to some ladies. They've given out a few domestic, you know, I would say petty things. Yet in their budget, when you look at the salaries they give, they tend to call them volunteers. But when you look at the volunteers package and you compare what goes down to the person who is intended this donation to go to, you'll be like, you better go home, pack up.
So government should do its role.
So coming to the EU, we welcome this. This has been our outcry. We need to stop anyone who has been getting another country's taxpayers' money to fund Uganda in the name of Ugandans or Uganda as the people, when there is still a single person benefiting in this. We've seen U.S. has been sending, I've seen about $750 million that has been cut off. I'm like, yes, because the Ugandan is not benefiting to this. When this money goes, Museveni has a business of trading his soldiers. He goes in a country, he pretends to keep peace and secure refugee for these people. When I would like you're a journalist, go back to Uganda, go through all the refugee camps. Look out if you can find able-bodied men, young men in those areas. Where are they? You mean men don't seek for refugee? Where are they? He gets these people, these young men and women, puts them in, trains them into the army, trades them in another country for peacekeeping. That's why when it came to election, you would see people. When I was growing up, we would interact with soldiers. Anywhere you found, I grew up in Makindye areas. I mean, we would go to even the barracks, you know, the red top barracks up there, leave alone this military, their major. But we would interact with soldiers. The first time I got hold of a gun, it was from a military guy who was just, you know, yeah, you can learn this, how it works, you know. Casually interacting with fellow citizens. Being a soldier makes you just a part of the system and you have a role to play, but it doesn't take away your citizenship or your Ugandanness and interaction with other Ugandans. The people who were deployed in Uganda in this election, everyone who has interacted with them, it's like, we just don't understand. These people speak a language we don't understand, and even when we try to engage with them, interact with them, no one will give you a single word. We don't know if that was the command, but hey, where is the humane? Where is the Ugandanness? Who is commanding? Often a time we've seen Kyagulanyi being blocked from where he's coming from and where he's going. But guess what? None of the people blocking him had the courtesy to even tell him, we understand this is our direction or this is our orders. We request you to pack and leave. Or we won't allow, oh, this is the next of what we are ordered to do. Apart from rounding them off, beating people like as if they're even cattle in Ankole, they don't beat them. You beat a cattle in Ankole, oh.
It's like a human.
It's more than a human.
I want you to comment on the impact. This is the very first time we are seeing the EU overwhelmingly voting with over 600 members. Overwhelmingly all are agreeing that they don't feel this was, it was free and fair. What do you think is going to be the impact on the economy of Uganda? If you have the USA cutting over $170 million, we've had the, we've been receiving over 500 billion shillings annually, for example, for some of the support from the European Union. What do you think is going to be the impact on Uganda as a country and maybe the leadership of the nation?
The only impact this funding has a bearing towards is Museveni and his cronies. There is no a single bearing. Maybe there would be other bearing is more taxes, additional taxes onto Ugandans to make sure that they squeeze them so tight to their marrows to get to compensate for what they have lost. But in terms of the wellness and the natural living of a Ugandan, there is no bearing. These people have, and today we have seen probably the world now can see. And Museveni is forgetting that it's now, the world is a global village today. Whatever is happening, he can take off the internet, he can do anything he thinks in his brain is empowering him, or he can utilize to shut down everybody, but you can never shut down everybody in this season. That's where we come out to cry out to the world to tell them, hey, look, we need to have an input in the leadership of our nation, because the people leading us are so outdated. They are so primitive that they cannot understand us. That's the message that Kyagulanyi has been also working with, that they do not understand us. They don't know where we come from, and they will never understand where we want to go, because they think they can think for us, plan for us, and provide for us, which is never going to happen. I'm glad I'm part of I'm part of the team awakening anyone else, especially in my age bracket. I would leave those grown to be wherever they want to be, the way they see things, like my friend here. I won't blame him. The only thing I will not allow him to do is to think that he can tell me at my age today, that he can tell me what to do or think for me and stop me also from saying what I'm supposed to do, especially when I'm not in Uganda, when I'm in a country that allows for freedom, for the real freedoms of humanity.
Can I say something?
Yeah, let me first ask Mr.
I'm not going to diverge away from what he has.
Okay, in a minute, because I want to ask Mukasa something. Yeah.
Just to add on what he has said, I've seen it even on social media, people debating about the impacts of the EU sanctions on Uganda. And for Ugandans watchers, take heart, these sanctions do not affect any normal Ugandans going about their day-to-day business. In fact, the sanctions that cut down the money, because EU has been funding a lot to do with the police. In fact, Ugandans, you should be celebrating, because now the police will have less tear gas. In fact, Ugandans are benefiting from this. How? They will have less tear gas.
Exactly.
There is less tear gas. There is less bullets, less guns. For once, at least let's have the police use sticks or something else. So Ugandans as a country, as people, normal Ugandans who are surviving on a day-to-day activities and going about their business, this is not affecting you, because what has the money been doing? One, the man has been buying tear gas, buying bullets to kill Ugandans. Two, the money has been, they've been using this money to share it among the few, Museveni and his cronies to keep themselves in power. So, one, deprive Museveni of all this money. You see, every time they are borrowing money, of which they end up stealing. What happened to the money they borrowed to put up Lubowa Hospital? They stole it. All we see, they borrow and steal. They get money from European Union and steal. So Ugandans, in fact, we should be celebrating that at least we are going to have less tear gas on the streets because they'll have no money to buy it. Less guns less bullets, they'll have no money to buy it. How this money affects or improves the life of a normal Ugandan? It does not.
Zero.
Because it ends up in the hands
Zero.
of President Museveni and buying more guns and tear gas to just suppress a Ugandan and make them feel weak. The other thing I'm going to add on, when you say, okay, the sanctions also, you had also the U.S. cutting down. The U.S. cutting down. I'm still talking. The U.S. cutting down the budget of Uganda. Excellent. U.S. kudos. We've been waiting for this because this money, what has it been doing? This money has been given to the UPDF. You've seen how the UPDF, they vote. What happened during the election or towards the election? You saw Museveni parading Mambas, parading all kinds of choppers that were going through, all over Chagulanyi's house. Museveni has been using money he's been given in terms of donations to improve the lives of Ugandans and keeping himself more in power. And I'm telling you, what happens with all dictators all over the world? One, it starts off with a number of things. And what has been happening before is, I think this is long overdue. I think the likes of Dr. Besigye did not, did not let this information come out the way we've done for such sanctions and everything to come out. Because dictators all over the world, if you read their history, countries they've been depending on have cut them off. And maybe what is going to happen is they're going to increase taxes back home in Uganda. But you can't milk a cow you've not fed. Ugandans have no money even to pay for the taxes.
I mean, that's what I was, that's what I was going to say, that whenever they cut the budget,
let me ask you one thing.
All right, let me ask Mr. Mukasa his question.
The tax, I'll tell you one thing, and you must understand, is if you say Ugandans are going to suffer from the taxes, and for example, now they want to introduce a tax on ATMs, I want you to do a survey. How many Ugandans keep money in the bank? How many Ugandans have bank accounts that they keep money in the bank that they're going to do withdrawals? Ugandans who have money on mobile money are more than those who keep money in the bank. This is not affecting any Ugandan. It is going to, in fact, it is going to help us to stop money to come here.
Nobody else is talking.
All these guys, yes, because I'm talking.
No, it is not his turn. You are supplementing.
It is going to help us to stop the money that is coming from Uganda to finance the lifestyle of these NRM apologists who live in the Western world.
Okay, Sarah, one moment. Mr. Mukasa,
yes, sir.
You have the microphone now. Are these sanctions justifiable to you? And is it going to have an impact on Uganda as a country?
Okay, this is what is happening. We've been through this rodeo before. Every time something happens, the European Union comes in. I remember there's a time the World Bank cut off aid when the issue of homosexuals, LGBT people, they cut off aid to the hospitals. They resumed it. Then there was a time they cut off money for the roads. They say the Chinese were raping the girls. Blah, blah, blah. I remember European Union one time again cut off money. There was an incident. There was some incidents up north. So we've been through this rodeo before. It's not. But my frustration is the frustration of that. My colleagues have lost hope in Ugandans. Their hope is in the European Union and the United States.
No.
So they are, no, it's my turn to speak.
Yeah, but don't insult.
You will have your turn. You had your turn. I was quiet.
Yes, Mr. Mukasa.
I was quiet.
You can
I'm
go.
listening.
I was quiet.
I'm listening.
So they've lost hope in Ugandans. Their hope is in the European capitals, in Washington, D.C. So we have left them. Let them have confidence in that. So we have our own way of doing things. We are very ordinary. We are very orderly. We are very systematic. We are going to dismantle the propaganda. You will just see, they will come back. They will bring the money.
How are you going to dismantle it?
Because when the truth, lies fly very fast. But the truth first goes home, takes tea, then puts on a tie, and then comes walking down the street and says, hey, what's up? Oh, there's somebody, people are saying, those are rumors and lies. But when the truth comes out, oh, they will say, oh, we didn't know that. You see what I mean? So they will say, oh, but you didn't tell us that. So some people, when they see blood, when they see beatings, whatever they see, they are emotionally attached. Now, this reaction of the European Parliament is an emotional reaction. They are acting emotionally because of what they have seen. And then there's a lot of propaganda that has been going on. But they will come, they will engage us. The Europeans need us more than we need them. Why? They need resources. China is ready to take the resources. The Europeans need the resources. We have the resources.
They don't need
No, can you be quiet? Can you guys be quiet for 1 minute?
Yes,
you will talk. You will have your time. They need us. The French are there. They wanted the oil. The Italians wanted our oil. We gave it to the Chinese, and we called Total came in, gave us a better offer. Everybody was competing for Uganda's oil. So they are competing for our resources. We have rare earth. They all need it. The Chinese need it. If we need finances, the Chinese are ready to give the finances. But we need the relationship with the Europeans because we have traditional ties to them. So my colleagues here, I know they are frustrated emotionally. They are not used, say like my colleague here, maybe this one. He's not used to an opponent being here giving contrary views. She lives in a bubble. They have a resounding echo, an echo chamber.
No, I'm not used to foolishness.
Can she be quiet?
I don't like sitting next to people who sprout out foolishness.
You have been sprouting out foolishness, and I kept quiet. I kept quiet. I kept my cool.
Let's go back to the sanctions.
Yes.
Do you feel, because this is going to have an impact obviously on Uganda.
Yes.
Do you feel, as I say the question, do you feel this is justifiable?
No, as
Should
far as
Ugandans be going through this?
Listen, as far as I'm concerned, this money basically helps both the government and the ordinary people. Many of the CSO civic organizations have been on the opposition. Even you see them on TV. They are out there on the government. They are saying this against the government. Every person who comes on TV speaking for these non-governmental NGOs, he's anti-government. They are funded by the European Union.
But
can you be quiet? Can she be quiet?
Yeah, you can go on.
Give me a chance to finish.
You can go on.
Give me a chance.
No, because I'm helping you.
You haven't.
I'm helping you because
do not help me.
Yeah,
do not help me. Do not help me. I know how to help myself.
Now,
yes, I can speak for myself. I don't ask you for anything.
Yes.
So, most of the NGOs out there are funded by this DGF. It's a European Union thing. So they were all out there, and they were begging the government. They were this, that, whatever. So but they have been speaking against government. That's why government came out with a big stick. And it's like, what's happening to these people? Because it's been a slush fund. People have been using. That's why even the money that went to Opio, the human rights lawyer, the so-called human rights lawyer that was arrested.
He's a human rights lawyer.
The so-called.
He's not a so-called. He's a lawyer, qualified, educated.
Okay.
How can I participate?
Okay.
How can I? You were demeaning Muhoozi here, and I kept quiet.
That wasn't a demeaning.
Muhoozi, Opio is the
order, guys.
Opio is the so-called.
Muhoozi went to school with my cousin.
So-called
human rights.
It does not matter.
Muhoozi used to. Is dead.
Can we have some order, please?
Yes.
Muhoozi is dead.
Mukasa, you still have 3 minutes.
It's still my time.
Yes,
you will give me an extra minute for her interruption.
All right,
Can she talk for me?
Go ahead.
No, let her talk for me.
Finish.
I will not talk as she's talking.
Even you see his tweet.
As long as she's talking, I will not talk.
I have a question online.
Listen, sir, I will not talk. I will not answer your question as long as she's talking.
All right, she's quiet. Let me ask you a question.
I have to finish.
The same EU people that we are talking about, as you finish that one, the same EU people are the ones who are denied a chance, the observers from the EU and the USA, to enter Uganda and observe this election. That's why I wanted to pronounce yourself on whether you feel it is fair what they are saying, because they didn't have a chance to go into Uganda to observe the elections themselves. The US wanted to have a team of over, I think, 64. They only allowed them to have 16
and they were denied.
And they were denied. So when they come out and say, with all this overwhelming evidence that has come through, which you've said is false and has been doctored, does that give you the picture that this was really not a free and fair election?
Okay, here you go. We know there are groups in the US who are against the Uganda government because of the issues of LGBT. Museveni disagrees with the LGBT. His opponents agree with them.
No.
So, can you be quiet?
Okay.
I'm going to leave the program.
Yes,
I will
you'll have
leave.
time. You'll have time.
I will
That's a
leave.
propaganda
I will
campaign.
leave.
Yeah, this is the current propaganda they're trying to run in Uganda.
I will leave
We
the
shall
program.
have a chance to speak.
You will speak.
Finish. You have a minute.
Yes.
You still have a minute.
No, they have entered in so many
Okay,
of
you have
He's
2
the
minutes.
moderator.
2 minutes and finish.
Yes, because if I cannot be given a chance to talk on
Okay.
this program,
Now you have
why
a
should I
chance.
come here?
Now you have a chance.
Yes. So, Mr. Chagulanyi, when they asked him about the LGBT people, he was vague. He was basically pro. And then Museveni said, we as Ugandans are not there yet. We are not there. You give us time to evolve. So LGBT groups were sponsoring people to come and give biased views about Uganda on the elections. So government said, these people have a biased view against Ugandans. We are sorry. We don't want them. Because they already came here with...
Can I ask him a question through you?
No,
I'm going through the moderator.
Okay. You have a question?
Yes.
He will ask
Yes. What is your view? What
I will not answer his question.
Through him, unless
Okay,
you want to
you can
moderate
ask-
your
I
own
will
self,
not
because I'm
answer-
going through the
I will not
moderator.
answer
One
his
moment.
question.
Okay, 1 moment.
Yes.
Let's just hear what it says.
My question is, what is his view in regards to LGBT?
I will not answer it.
Why?
What's your view?
Why?
You can
I
tell
will
us.
not
No,
answer it.
why?
You can give us.
Because,
You see, these are...
let me tell you why I can't
There's
answer.
double standards
Yes,
and
because
fake
you're
news.
here.
You know why I
Let's
can't
hear your
answer
view.
it?
What's your
Because
view?
I am not given a chance to talk. The
You can
minute
answer it.
We
If
all
you-
go
Okay, now
through
we
the
are quiet. Let's
moderator.
all keep quiet.
If you give me a chance to
Okay,
talk,
you have
and
the microphone
listen,
now.
I will not answer that one. I have a view. I will not answer that one because I am not given a chance to expound what I want to expound. So you will not force me to answer it.
Okay, tell us what you were telling us. and
Okay,
we shall
this
proceed.
is what I'm saying. If you bring in observers who are already biased against Uganda because of the stance of the president, how are we going to allow you? You come with, you have formed your opinion about Uganda. So how can you be an independent observer? That's one. Two, the American, if the Europeans and the Americans did not observe our elections, how can they have an opinion that it was free or fair? You were not even there.
Well,
You refuse to give
they
them
are-
accreditation.
We
You
are
don't
giving
give
them the
accreditation.
You
report.
see,
They had an
I can't
ambassador
even
in Uganda.
talk.
They were refused to.
Listen,
They
they
had
refused
an
to give them
ambassador in
accreditation.
Uganda.
Even the ambassador
listen.
of Uganda herself
Listen,
was denied
listen
access
to
to
me.
Chagulanyi's
No,
home,
listen.
and she
Even
was
before-
observing
a year
everything.
Before the election, they were refused to be given
Sir,
accreditation.
sir,
Exactly.
So
we-
what did you
sir,
want?
We are
them
giving
to
you
observe?
information,
What is
Mr.
going on
Mukasa.
here?
We
are
won't
giving
go
you
like
What is
information.
going on?
Order,
It is
order.
their time of
Order,
my
okay.
time.
We are
Now,
giving you information
this is-
because
this
you
is-
Don't
seem
give
to
me
be
an
not
excuse.
knowing.
This is
Stupid
the-
information.
this
And
is
we're
the
not going to
final-
sit
Don't
here
lie
as
to us.
intelligent
No,
people. We won't
listen,
sit here
listen.
and allow you.
If you don't
say stuff
change,
you don't
if you,
understand.
sir, if you
We
don't,
have 20 minutes. to
hold
go
on a minute.
For the show to go.
I'm asking
So,
you, sir, hold on a minute. If you don't discipline these people, I'm not going to come back.
No,
here.
because they are
They
responding.
are not.
They are
No,
responding
no,
to your
no.
point.
If I am, have I been responding?
Okay,
They were talking their
conclude your
nonsense.
points and then I'll go to them.
He abused the
Have I abused you?
Muhozi. I kept quiet.
Muhozi is dead.
I see. I kept quiet.
Okay, guys, let's
I'm-
observe. Let's
I'm
observe
not
if
our-
worried
they
about.
don't-
I'm not
if-
worried
but
about
let's-
gonna be
let's
that
have-
I'm going to be arrested
Hold
for
on a
saying
minute.
that.
Let's
Yes.
hear from you on
No.
something I want to ask you. I
Yes.
hope you are able to answer this.
You,
Yes.
you can see from his childish.
Are you 100% satisfied that Ugandans are still wanting Museveni as their president?
How do you know that the people want someone as a president? It's not propaganda. It is not Facebook. It is not WhatsApp. It is not the talk show here. The people speak through the ballot box.
Thoroughly rigging
You
and
see,
beating them up.
people vote through the ballot box. The ballot box is the only. Here, Trump was telling the whole world he was making these huge rallies. You saw Trump's huge rallies? Biden never had a room or a place with more than 200 people. When he came out, he had.
Don't compare
Oh,
the politics
no,
of
no,
America to
but-
Uganda.
but
They
you're
are
convinced-
completely
One
different.
sec, one sec, sir.
Listen.
Okay.
This program
Uh-huh,
is
Finish.
full of unruly people.
Finish. Finish.
That's your own
You
opinion.
It's
say-
not the whole world can see it.
You're-
You
you're-
guys cannot.
you are-
allow
As
it.
anyone, you
speaking.
don't
No,
allow
guys,
for a debate.
you are
You
fighting.
only want to be
You're
here
scared
to
of a
dictate,
debate.
because this is the
The
regime.
debate is
You
you
see,
talk,
the people
I
who have
talk.
grown
Now,
up in this
listen,
regime,
one sec.
They
they
talk,
want to
I
dictate
talk.
everything.
Each one is going to have 7 minutes because we're going to end the show. You're going to have 7 minutes
Listen.
to talk,
Can
right?
I speak?
Listen.
So let's have you
Eh,
first.
yes.
We'll have him and then her.
No, hold on a minute.
He's been speaking.
So
I have
But he has
not.
been speaking for the
I
last
was.
20 minutes.
okay.
Hold on a minute. I was not given a chance to speak. So
You're
I am
speaking
muffled.
now. Speak.
I am not. Actually,
Okay,
I'm
speak.
quiet. Let them
Speak.
talk.
Speak now.
No, let them
So
talk.
you're done?
Okay, Derek.
Okay, let me, Derek, let me start
them
off
talk.
with
Me, I'm tired
correcting
of
the
this nonsense.
misconception.
No, you'll conclude.
Let me start with correcting the misconception.
That's the time.
Of,
7 minutes.
Of,
Yeah,
of the NRM propagandists who depend, in fact, money still comes from Uganda to feed them, that they sit here and they want to weed honk and lie to Ugandans. There is nothing. The LGBT community has nothing to do with the election or the problems of Ugandans. Uganda, the LGBT community is not why Ugandans are jobless. The LGBT community is not the reason why President Museveni and his team are corrupt. Let's stop misusing or just, coming up with stories just because we cannot justify why we are in power for 40 years and have taken the country to a shithole, because Uganda is a typical shithole. Let's not confuse the two. The LGBT community is not the reason why people are being shot dead in Uganda. The LGBT community is not the one leading Uganda. As he should be able to justify and tell us why things are the way they are in Uganda, than just confusing and coming up with the LGBT community. Why isn't the things messed up in the United States, where the LGBT community is big? You cannot say and start claiming, oh, because President Museveni said we are not ready for LGBT. Let me tell you one thing. When people are having sex as same-sex people, they are in their bedroom. It has nothing with the way the campaigns run in Uganda, with the human rights violation. It has nothing to do with that. It's about time people who support the NRM address the real issues. Because what is hurting some of us is someone coming and sitting on a panel like this with the intelligent people, and you start spouting out nonsense, talking about the LGBT community. It is not the reason why there is unemployment. It is not the reason why there is corruption. It is not the reason why the police is brutalizing Ugandans. It is not the reason why some of our brothers and sisters have no arms and legs right now. Were they homosexuals? So you mean the Ugandans whose arms and legs they are cutting off and killing and abducting in drones, are they homosexuals? Please don't confuse us. It is so absurd. And the other thing I'm going to say, for the NRM apologists to sit here and start talking about, oh, the European Union, America needs Uganda because you have oil. My dear, wake up. America right now is moving towards the renewable energy. They are moving towards, using solar. Most of the cars that are going to be produced from 2021, they are moving away from gas cars. Am I right? So where are you going to sell you're excited? You're just excited about oil. Yet the countries you think depend or need your oil are moving away from oil. They are moving to renewable energy. They are moving to renewable energy. Most of the cars, I've told you, most of the cars being made right now. So Uganda, as you're excited with your oil, you're going to end up selling it so cheaply to countries, moreover, around Africa, because countries in Europe, countries in America are moving to renewable energy. They are moving away from oil. So stop being excited that the European countries and America are interested in your oil, because they are not. They are moving away from it. They are moving away from it. And right now, America has enough oil that it wouldn't be interested in the drops you have in Uganda. So when you talk about the Chinese, when you're excited and say, oh, if the Europeans and Americans don't man up, the Chinese are coming in. The Chinese don't give anything for free. In fact, you need the Americans because they've been financing the military. They've been putting a lot of money in the UPDF. China will never give you anything for free. Look at countries where China is putting money. In Zambia, as we speak, China took over their airport. China does not give grants. It gives loans of which you have to pay with interest. Every money they've taken right now, we know China signed a deal with Museveni. There was Kutesa and his wife. We do not know what debt they've thrown us into. Right now, as you speak, you have a debt Uganda has that is going to be paid in 150 years. You have people like him sit here and speak nonsense. I'm sorry I'm going to say that. Because your children, your grandchildren, and children's children.
You have 30 seconds.
And children's children are going to pay those debts. So Uganda needs more America, needs more the European countries because they don't need anything from you. What does Uganda manufacture that the European countries would need from Uganda? As we speak right now, what food comes from, as a country like in America, as a country like America that has over 50,000 Ugandans living here, even a simple matoke cannot come from Uganda. The matoke we eat in America come from Ecuador. We cannot tell me any fruit that comes from Uganda that we eat here with the population of Ugandans in America. So what does America need from Uganda? Tell me what Europe needs from Uganda. And you're talking about China coming over that is giving you loans of which you have to pay back. So let's not confuse people. And it's about time that NRM accepts that they failed and they give away to another person. Because I'm telling you, you are developing. And finally, I'm going to say in 1 second that Ugandans, I keep telling you, these guys seem to be very comfortable and think, oh, because he mentioned that I think you people here, you've given up on Uganda, on Ugandans, and think, oh, the Americans and Europeans are going to help you. Ugandans, you're going to wake up. You are going to wake up. The next step is going to be an uprising. They don't want to hear that. Because that is what is going to take a dictator. You need 1 million Ugandans to rise up. 1 million Ugandans to rise up. They are not going to kill the 1 million. They hate to hear that. When we speak about that, they say, oh, genocide, you're putting people to war, you came by war. If it means, and 1 million Ugandans is what we need for an uprising to happen. And it is going to happen because you've really, really pressed Ugandans to the wall, that their noses are bleeding. So the next step for Ugandans to acquire their freedom, because we don't expect it from the judiciary, is going to be an uprising. You're not going to kill 1 million. Some will die, but we are going to claim our freedom.
Thank you so much. Derek,
yes.
In your final remarks, first, your final take on the sanctions, as I spoke about the impact on Ugandans, but also, do you still see any possible pathway of turning over the recent election results in Uganda with the sanctions and the reports coming in?
Thank you. Looking at the EU's vote, the Americans' decision, all the funding that has been solicited and cut off right now, Ugandans have a reason to celebrate. Ugandans have been helped to cut off one of the fingers that has been holding the stick, probably the one that has been pulling the trigger. Most of this money, as it goes to Uganda, well, I'll give you an example, money for COVID. US was supposed to give $2,500 for every single Ugandan during the COVID campaign. That money, after understanding that when it lands in the hands of Ugandans, the government, none of the Ugandan will receive this money. They had an option to give out this money themselves. But Uganda was like, we rather not take your money. So who is caring for Ugandans? The one who is bringing the money and giving you one condition. We want to give out this money by our own system. And you say, we would rather not have it. Who is thinking for Ugandans? The money that was collected to aid the COVID pandemic, where did it go? The masks that were promised, where did they go? The radios from Janat Kataha that our children were supposed, and the TVs that our children were supposed to study from. When I say that Rwanda is able to give at least every single student a laptop or a Chromebook for them to utilize, and this was even before the pandemic came through. Now look how the pandemic comes, and these people have a structure that is already laid out to aid their children, their pupils, their students. But in Uganda, what is our outcry when it comes to kids who go to school? Bad infrastructures, poor teachers, bad salaries to these teachers, looking at lunch, feeding, food. How do they even walk, going to school? There are so many problems that are uneven thinkable. But when we look at the aid that goes to Uganda, Ugandans as a whole, they may think, oh, this man has all this money. Because when you talk about this money in its lump sum, you'll be like, oh my God, all this money that Ugandans are going to miss. But when you go down to Ugandans themselves, does this money reach the local citizen? That money is intended to, because we are looking at that money coming in, but what is the intended recipient of that aid? Personally, I was in one of the campaigns that was meant to give out mosquito nets across Uganda. And that was, I think, from Malaria Consortium. But in my own capacity, I looked at the money being used in logistics, just logistics to get a single mosquito net to a household. You look at it and you'll be like, this is crazy. It would multiply almost 1,000 times a single net value to this individual who receives it. The resources of the logistics to give out a single net. Myself, I had two trucks that I gave out, that I rented out to the project. And every day I was getting $150,000 per truck. And each of my drivers was getting about $50,000 per day. And that is about 400 for just 2 trucks. And there were over millions of trucks that were rented to take to every single district, deep down into, and this is, remember, an NGO giving a donation. And I'm looking at who is benefiting more into this. When I won't consider myself who rented out my services, but I'm looking at a single driver, a person who was participating, who was getting 50,000 shillings every day. And how much is a net, a mosquito net, which was almost 30,000 shillings. But someone who is one of the millions of people who are taking these mosquito nets to the people is getting 50,000 shillings.
Yeah, you have 2 minutes to wind up.
And I'm saying, whatever the donations, the funding that has been cut out, we need this donation to stay where it is right now until we have a new government that is pro-people, that understands how to utilize these resources, that understands that when you're in position, you're not there to get only salaries for yourself and probably employ the cronies and your propagandists around you to make you big, because service provision in Uganda has become now nothing but an individual. It's like a pastor who takes themselves to be even greater than God, because they see people who are going through them to reach God. Now, in Uganda, service provision, you would see that people make positions so big than the services they are supposed to give out. You know? And in my conclusion, I'm looking at how these NRM propagandists today in Uganda have made this entire cut-off funding become an LGBT campaign. I'm very, very against this propaganda, and I will speak whenever I have to speak to tell these people that they should stop this bogus kind of a narrative that they keep bringing. Whenever there is any aid cut off, when they need it, it's not coming from LGBT people.
True.
But when it's cut off, their pain goes into their heart, and it's so bad, and because they feel they need to relate the citizens into their pain, they will bring something they know citizens have not welcomed well in their hearts. However, you should also understand that LGBT in a country like Uganda is like how you would come here in a foreign land, and there are some foods that you can't eat because this is not the culture you have grown into. But with time, you can even eat this food, and you're like, oh, okay, right. It's their own opinion. Who cares? Let the LGBT live their own life. They have their own struggles. Coming to Uganda, LGBT people have their own struggles. They are also finding ways on how they can survive, live in a country like Uganda. Some of them have way much bigger problems to express in Uganda, or even to survive in Uganda, than this ordinary funding of thinking that they are funding. I mean, themselves need funding too.
Thank you so much, Derek. Thank you so much. Now, Mr. Mukasa, you have your 7 minutes, uninterrupted.
I wish I could say one more.
A myriad of things to respond to. And then as we're closing, don't worry, I'll each give you just a minute to wrap up, and then we shall go.
My colleague here.
Yes. You have your 7 minutes.
are not disciplined enough to listen to me. It's like they are sitting on fire when I'm speaking, because I dismantle their lies.
And if you want to put on your mask, if in case you feel not audible enough, you can go ahead.
Yeah, when I dismantle their lies, it's like they are sitting on fire. My sister here thinks that oil is only used in cars. So she thinks because they are hybrids and whatever, these oil-free cars, the electric cars, it means the oil is going to go out of fashion. No, the price is going up even as I speak today. So, like I said, these people have lost hope in Ugandans. Their only hope is in the Europeans. So they think, there's a colleague who said he's going to throw 1 million people on the street. Yes, you can throw 1 million people on the street. We can also throw 1 million people on the street. When they clash, what will happen?
You don't have them.
You don't have them.
That is not, listen, did I say anything when they were talking?
Okay, guys, let's give him time. He gave you time.
Did I say anything when
So
they were
The thing
talking?
is, you spend more
Go
time
ahead.
complaining than continuing
Sir,
there.
Go ahead.
Can you stop this?
Yes.
We are not robots.
No,
We are in
listen,
an
I
interactive
was
kind
so
of
quiet.
session.
Let's give
Listen,
him some time.
no.
Keep going.
Okay, go ahead.
Listen, I want the audience to understand.
They are hearing you.
But the problem with these people, they don't want the audience to understand.
You're
I want
lying to the
listen,
audience.
I want these people to explain their case. That's why even when you're in court, they give you a chance to speak. Then they give you why? Because we are now like in a court of public opinion. The people want to listen to us.
Okay.
So if these people don't give me a chance to talk,
a chance to speak.
there's no way I can.
What he's
Yes,
saying is banning.
even if it's banning you, sit on it.
But even
All
in
right.
court,
You better stick to facts,
No,
not lies.
Right,
you
go.
have been speaking a lot
Proceed.
of falsehood. I'm dismantling them
Okay,
right
okay.
here.
Dismantle.
Yes. So these people have lost hope in Ugandans. They think they will bring 1 million people. We will bring 1 million people. They will clash. Then we will see who is at fault. You see what I mean? So that's not a point. Even we are not worried about how many million people. So it is amazing that propaganda and lies can enter someone's psyche, and they begin believing their own lies. So they go out there, they spew lies, they say this, they say that. So in their psyche, they're believing their own lies. So this is causing problems for them. That's the frustration you are seeing on this stage. Okay? So now, this guy said that the army in Somalia is full of refugees. The army we send out Central Africa, Somalia, is the refugees that we train on. When these people are going to Somalia, hey, be quiet.
oh, you're referring to what I said.
No,
I'm cleaning
I am
it. I'm
answering
cleaning
your-
what you. That's the
am.
mess you're smearing now. My
I
communication.
gave you a chance to smear the government.
Okay,
I
dismantle.
gave
Go
you-
ahead.
listen,
Yeah,
Go
but
ahead.
when I'm here, he better says it straight the way I said it.
I can't take this.
Okay, sorry.
I can't take this.
Proceed.
That's fine
I
with me
can't
for as
take
long as
this.
because I'm not a robot
You-
here to listen to
dealing with
lies.
young people
This-
with
You're
basic lies.
that's why they don't know how to
Let's
deal with
give
us.
him his time.
He
He
doesn't
has-
know
he
how
has
to
5
have
more
a
minutes.
conversation, a debate. He wants to be like they wanna be.
Robots.
Okay, I get you. We shall have a minute to conclude, right?
Thank you.
So
Listen,
why
it
not
is
with
this.
your side?
Why? Do you know why I can't speak what he's speaking? How will people listen? People need to have a clear listen to me.
Okay.
Like I gave him a chance to listen.
Okay, you have your chance.
When I hit him,
You have your
where
4
it
minutes.
pains, it's like a low blow in the stomach. So he feels
Don't
it.
smear
So
me
I am
lies
giving
of
it to
my
him.
own
I'm
words
giving
when
it to
I'm
him.
here.
Now I am giving it to you. So you feel it.
So
Take it
I'll
to-
respond to you if you're giving it
If
to
you
me.
respond,
Once he finishes, you're going to
listen,
respond and
you
then
will
we close.
get a chance.
Okay,
Because
okay.
I know your lies are very painful when somebody dismantles them. Let me dismantle his lies.
Okay, okay.
So in the army that goes to Somalia, when they are going out, they are on all national TV. And they are singing. And everybody knows they are Ugandans who are going to Somalia. Even the NTV, whichever, all the news goes to Somalia and interviews these people. And they say, General Lokech, the lion of Mogadishu, do you know who is in Somalia? Everybody knows who is there. Okay? So when these people bring their propaganda, we take that there are no younger men in the refugee camp. Go to the refugee camps. This propaganda is going to kill them. You are going to die in your own movie. You guys are going to die in your own movie. So that goes. So this kind of propaganda has deprived them of reasonableness. Now he thinks that I can't deal with young people. I can't deal with unruly people. Unruly people. These people are unruly. That's why we couldn't give them to take Uganda. We could not allow them to rule Uganda. Because
You
they
as who?
are undisciplined. We are the voters.
You as who?
We
Hey,
made
don't talk about
sure,
voters.
we campaigned and made sure they never came into power.
Isn't
The
his
people
minute
didn't.
over?
You want?
They,
No, you still have 2
no, I
minutes.
have 7 minutes.
You have 2 more minutes.
Yes. So the people they have interrupted me. I need an extra minute.
Okay, 2.5.
Yes. So these people
Complaining.
were deprived of leadership because of how, you see how Rodo, they say, we are young people. So what? It's not about biology. It's about ideology. They don't have an
What is
ideology.
your ideology?
Okay? They have no ideology.
Okay, tell us
For
yours.
them,
Tell
they are
us yours.
obsessed
What
with
is
Tell us
biology.
yours. Tell us your ideology.
Listen,
You have the
as
message.
far as
Yeah,
I'm concerned,
they don't have it.
listen, why don't they?
Corruption.
They only
stealing.
say it.
Okay, let's
They
give
don't
it.
It's
have
like a
any
word
ideology.
they ready now.
Finish
You know,
your
when
2
they go to
minutes.
Changkwanzi, they
Finish your
always
2
come
minutes.
out with a statement
You see,
Derek, let's
I
give
told
it-
without even
You have your 2 minutes.
these
Go on.
people cannot
It's 1 minute
be in
now.
power. Listen, one of their leaders. Listen.
Okay, go on.
There's no way we can give you power.
Finish.
I'm sorry. I'll not even answer
You
your
as
question.
who?
Mr. Chaglan is an MP. He's still in Parliament. If the masks did not reach where they were supposed to go to Parliament, that's why they sent him there. So he's supposed not to make this a masquerade. He's masquerading, they're using it for propaganda purposes. Go to Parliament and ask the minister what happened to the mask. But coming on TV and lying
when money
is
is
not going to
already
help
eaten.
you.
Okay.
Okay?
They said you are funded by the government. Are you funded by government?
Listen.
They are.
Yeah,
They don't work for free.
I just want you to clear
None
that.
of these people
you can
work for
dismantle
free.
that lie as well.
This is not a
Okay,
free will.
They
Let
don't
him
work for
speak.
free.
Are you
These are
funded by the government?
mercenaries.
Okay.
There are
Funded by
listen,
government.
listen to me. There are some questions that I will not dignify.
No, dismantle the lie.
Listen,
You said you
I
dismantled the
cannot
lie.
dignify. I cannot dignify masqueraders like these ones.
Okay.
He,
He-
ca- he
by
cannot tell
answering
his
their
boss
question.
But you
that
can save the image of the party and
No,
say
I cannot.
no one
Listen,
is funding us.
this will not save the image of the party because the people I'm debating with are not living in the real world.
that would deny him
They-
the next salary.
because
The
they are
next
also not paid
paycheck
by
won't
the
be there.
NFA.
Hold on a minute. I can say whatever I want to say. Nobody can stop me.
Okay.
But the problem is,
You have 1 more minute.
the people I am on stage with, they are
smart.
They are
This is a smart
indisciplined.
generation.
The,
Smart
the
generation
kind
does
of
not take
indiscipline.
your nonsense.
And if these are the people we are going to handle Uganda to in the future, then woe to Uganda.
There is even
So
much
that's
more
why
coming.
We are training now different people, not these hooligans. Even on stage, they are hooligans.
It's okay,
Okay?
to call
Even
us
on
anything
stage,
you can
they are
want,
hooligans.
you can call us.
So that's I've
So
concluded.
you said you're training? Where?
Yeah, we are
They
training
don't
in Uganda.
even-
Okay. So
Can I-
each
let
one
me
of
use
you,
my-
each
my
one
1
of you
minute.
has 1 minute. I will start with Derek.
You want to
Derek,
start
you
with
were
Derek?
Derek, you were burning. You will close. Derek, you were burning so much with something.
Ah.
You have 1 minute, exactly 1 minute. Your response. I know. I asked you a question about. She said Uganda should rally in millions of numbers to show and protest against this election. And I asked, do you think there is still any other pathway? Yes, we've seen the sanctions coming in. We have a petition in the courts. Is there any other pathway that you feel is still viable for change in Uganda?
In Uganda, there is a saying that bw'oba onotta ekibe osooka kukikenenya ndusu. I don't know if I brought it the best way, but totta kibe nga tonna kikenenya ndusu. Now, we have Mr. Mukasa.
Ng'obwedda tomunstoppinga.
Go setting an example.
Exactly. Olabye hooligan omulala. Olabye, did you see another hooligan? Thank
I don't
you.
want to interrupt
So
your
now,
time.
Banjigiriza.
this is one piece of the entire strategy. Mr. Kyagulanyi tells us that every single piece of either action, word, or whatever you can do that can help us to take away the dictator, just go right ahead. You don't even have to ask anyone, because our job is clear. As Ugandans, we are tired. Ugandans spoke by the vote. They came out very audibly well, and they were clear. You've seen the vote rigging, almost 3,000 young people, part of which are polling agents for NUP, are incarcerated today, being beaten, ridiculed, spit on, brutally murdered because of an election.
our cry is that if you really thought the election cannot take you out of power, then why organize it? Because he was the organizer. Why did you organize it if you knew that you're not ready to accept the challenge? From the onset, going to the voters, rather to the electorate for inquiries, come to registering, getting signatures, coming to registration, coming to the actual election, you haven't seen any candidate having bulletproof in the whole world. Kyagulanyi has set a record. Bulletproof everywhere, bullets swinging all over, people dying every single day, running over people. Because of what? Kyagulanyi had a motorcade of police. And I was looking at this, I was like, I wish all this motorcade were ambulances. Thinking of carrying any victim of circumstances as they brought it forward, that it was a very sensitive season, that they were ready to take these people to the hospitals.
30 more
but
seconds.
No one was inclined on the citizens. Look at today, after the election, where did the COVID go now? How come even Museveni is interacting? I saw him taking pictures with the pastors last time, about not even a week. How come he was even the mastermind of visiting the lawmakers, the judges?
Your final take.
My final take. We are in court. Kyagulanyi has been dismissed. I'll still conclude with how I started. Kyagulanyi has been dismissed from the onset. Today, he's in court challenging the electorate. And no one ever even thought he would appear on a ballot paper. You wait from what is coming from the court. We have given everyone a chance. The courts of law have been given a chance as an institution, not the 9 judges, but the institution called the High Court has been given a chance to deliberate. But Ugandans have the final say, and Ugandans will come out if the courts of law have become also another mode of suppressing their intentions.
Thank you so much, Derek. Your final take, Mr. Mukasa, before we go to
Okay,
Sarah Joy.
I'm here.
And I want to thank you so much for being very civil, as you said.
Yeah.
And we hope next time you shall come.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad that my opponent here, I'm following
Opponents. You can imagine we are Ugandans, but
Yeah.
talking in terms of
opponents.
opponents.
Opponent is not
Oh,
a bad word.
Okay, go
Yeah,
on.
I'm
go
glad
on.
that my opponents, they are not my enemies, they are my opponents.
Okay,
We are in the field, we are combat.
You are,
It is
you are our elder,
political
and you're still
combat.
speaking in a divisive way of opponents.
Yes, you are my opponents.
Let's
It's a political
give the elder
combat.
time
Yes,
to
yes.
his minute to finish.
I'm glad that my opponents here have accepted they accepted their half-baked. And they follow a dim-witted outfit. And I find them lightweight.
See, he's so organized in the words of how he thinks he can call
He's
all
even
the
made
notes.
notes.
Yeah, he made
And,
notes. He's reading like he's
yes, and
smart and intelligent, but he's an RRM supporter.
No,
These guys
smart
are
and
lightweight.
intelligent, but he's reading notes.
And
How dense
He's
can
on
you
Google,
be?
we are finding,
Wikipedia.
Google.
Okay, let's give
we are finding it.
You
easy.
see, best words to abuse people.
Please, wind up.
If it's
Wind
done,
up,
like,
Mr.
if
Why
Mukasa.
are they
If it's
interrupting?
done,
Wind
let
up.
me
Okay.
speak.
They want to speak for me.
Your
Close
minute
up
is
with your
done.
1 minute
No,
and we
hold
go.
on, sir. They want to speak for me.
No.
I
we
can
are ending.
speak
We
for
are
I
you.
ending.
know. One word I say will just dismantles their intellect because they are lightweight.
Because you're not behaving.
I told you,
Okay.
these guys.
In your
You're not
in
you're
your
not behaving on your
hooliganism.
edge.
Guys, you've had a time to close, and then we go to Sarah Joy.
Yes.
You have 30 seconds.
No, I can't. They have spoken in
No,
my
you
talk.
spoke
Can I
for 30
close?
seconds.
Because I have
No,
something to
they
say.
have.
Okay, finalize.
Let me
Finalize.
you have
The
to give
1
me
minute.
my time.
The
they
1
took
minute
it.
now,
Okay.
you're counting down.
I'm glad, like I told you, we are finding it very easy to dismantle their lies. So that's why when I speak, they jump up like they are going to die. Don't die.
Don't abuse me.
You
I'll
die.
come up.
You
Yeah,
you
if
wanted
you-
to die.
If your directed
Okay.
So,
information is to...
I'm telling the Ugandans out there,
Yeah.
I'm telling the listeners that the people, any of you people who put your trust in these guys, this outfit, I'm calling it an outfit right now, It is like
Trust is in Ugandans,
it's like
not us
it's
here.
like a gang outfit. They are just trying to rabble rouse. The rabble rousers. They are the troublemakers. They are just trying to hoodwink you out there. So I'm asking you, Ugandans, have faith in your government. The government has been there for 35 years. It has nurtured you. It has brought you up. It has stabilized the country. We live in a dangerous neighborhood, but our country is stable. Everybody who has problems comes to Uganda. It's Somalians, Eritreans, Ethiopians, Kenyans, whoever has problems is stationed where? In Uganda. So, guys, we live in a troubled, dangerous neighborhood.
But you live in America.
Hey.
Okay.
His time
So,
is up.
his time is up.
He's actually
We are
2
talking
minutes
about
now.
Uganda. So,
You
you
go
guys
back to Uganda.
have faith in our government. Me, I am a dual citizen. I can live in any country
you're
I
enjoying-
want.
you're in
I live
winter.
6 months here. I live 6
dual-
months in
no.
Uganda. I live 6 months here, 6 months in Uganda. So nobody can tell me
right.
where to live.
All
It is
right.
my right.
Thank you so very
Thank you,
much,
sir.
Mr. Mukasa. Sarah Jo, you have your 1
You
minute.
know,
and then we close.
I'll tell you one thing. Me, not as a politician, I'm not a politician, I'm an activist. I find it's so hard to sit. You know, when you sit with politicians, they are liars. My blood boils when I sit on a panel with people like him who you expect to act intelligent. But what comes out of them is so really absurd. For politicians, it is okay. They can take that, they can take whatever comes out of that because, at one point they lie. I'm not a politician, so that's why I find it really hard. But I want him to understand, his boss, we are a product of Museveni. The rowdiness, the indiscipline, whatever you see, it has come from the 40 years of President Museveni. Why we disrespect elders like you? You've nurtured this. We are a product of President Museveni. So if you're still asking yourself where we come from, who has nurtured rowdy, indisciplined people?
I know where you come from.
Yes, but now I'm informing you because if
I
you,
know you don't
if
need
you
to
knew, you
All
wouldn't
right.
have asked.
You
I didn't
have,
ask-
you have 40
No,
minutes,
if
Sarah
you
Jo,
knew, you
and
wouldn't
close.
even
I
have
did
mentioned
not
it.
ask.
40 minutes.
You wouldn't
I
have
just
mentioned
wanted
it.
people to know.
We are,
30 seconds,
we
sorry.
are a
30
product
seconds.
of President Museveni. He has bled the anger, the pain you feel inside, the zeal. We want to fight. We want a better Uganda. He has forced us to become who we are right now.
And you will lose.
And we will not lose because he's not the first president. Uganda has had was there and was even more powerful.
We're gonna take you
If you
50 more,
speak
yeah.
to our parents who are there in meantime, they will tell you Amin was very powerful.
Finally.
And I'll tell you one thing,
Finally, Sarah.
Gaddafi used to make, I think there is no powerful president in Africa more than Gaddafi. Gaddafi used to move with his private jets. Whenever he's coming to Uganda, he used to come with his cooks, his cleaners. Gaddafi is normal. Museveni does not have another 20 years ahead. And the likes of him. And the other thing I want to add on.
Finally, as you go. Because
2 things I want to add on before I finalize. For such people, and I want Ugandans to understand, this so-called, no one works for NRM for free. All these you see are paid on taxpayers' money.
I do.
He said that when I talked of we need 1 million Ugandans to come up and you know what, take back their country, he said we will get 1 million. They have nowhere to get 1 million Ugandans unless they pay for them. Unless no Ugandan is, because NRM has positioned itself as a party for transaction. It's a transaction where transactions happen.
Yeah.
There is no way you can raise 1 million Ugandans unless you pay them.
Just watch.
These are on a payroll, and I'm telling you, if they're really as influential as they say, you yourself mentioned you've never, this is the first time I'm hearing of him, and even he's here lying to people.
I have been debating with you here, Sarah. Don't be a liar on this stage. I've been on this stage with her. Even it's on record. The first debate on this one, I was with her. Don't lie. You see, you're a liar. You young people are liars.
she's dismantling also.
Yes.
Yeah, no, she's a liar. I've been on her on the stage.
You see how he's boiling now?
Guy was there.
You see? Do you see
this one?
You see he's lying. I have never been
Alright.
here with you and Sarah on that.
Can I
Not with Sarah.
Let's give Sarah.
No,
Give me my time.
we haven't
give
been
Sarah.
here with
Sarah
Sarah before.
Okay.
Give me my time.
See how he's boiling?
Let's give
Give me
Sarah.
my time.
Let's
No,
give Sarah.
when you bake an outright lie, I am going to post on the website. I'm going to
how
post the
he's-
video
where I was with Sarah, and she will be ashamed. They have
but
no shame.
do you see where he was
what
calling
did we
us
do?
hooligans
No,
and
we were debating
right
in
now
this
he's
very
here
place.
boiling.
I
Can I-
thought
can
you
I-
were sharing
can
money.
I-
Before you came, there was that lady, the lawyer lady. We were debating with her.
I
All
don't
right,
remember.
She's
let's-
a liar.
Let me
Let's give
finish.
Sarah-
Liars that you know you
He
dismantle the
doesn't
Let me
lies.
remember
finish
you.
You are the elder.
He's a-
Can you
are
just
the elder. You
leave
said-
that?
Okay.
You said you have to give
he's
us.
Okay, I'm
seated
giving
here,
her the chance.
lying
I'm giving
to
her
our,
the chance to
lying to our
Okay.
viewers that they have over 800 members of NRM in Boston.
Yes, we
He's
do.
a liar.
We do.
Recently, the people who want change have been to all these places. We've been to New York, we've been to Delaware, we've been to DC, and if we are lying of the
yellow
things,
diaspora group is
wait,
right there.
if we
I
are
can
if we
show
are
you the
lying,
members.
if
you
you
wanna
are
know.
if you have any members,
Yes.
it is a group meant to eat
You
money.
see all those?
It is a
See all
group
those?
meant to eat
And
money.
there's another group.
But you're not doing any activity. Okay, if we are saying lies,
So,
if we are
your
painting,
lies
if
don't
we are
sell.
propaganda, if you're doing a lot of propaganda and spoiling the name of Uganda, go out where we've gone and undo what we've done. When we have demonstrations here, why don't you stage up a demonstration and say, oh, we are undoing what they're doing? Finally, I'm going to say, I want to thank very much the Catholic Church for standing with the oppressed. For once, we've had people who are serving God, who are willing to stand with the truth. You saw the last picture you saw, you mentioned the pastors were
Yes,
in
with
State House.
squeezing
Each
Museveni.
pastor got an envelope of 600, no, they got 60 million each.
Lies.
I'm not lying, I have
You're lying.
facts.
Show it. Show your facts.
Pastor
Post it
who
on
came,
the website.
the pastor who came out,
keep
who went
on
to
lying.
see Museveni, each was given an envelope of 60 million. So we have men
How
of
can
God
she
in Kampala.
show
I am
money
sorry, but
that
we
is
have
in people's
we-
in account,
we-
people's account.
Yo,
How
we
can
have-
she show you
we
money that
have-
is in people's
Sarah is
accounts?
finishing.
Let me
Sarah,
finish up.
finish.
Let me
She's
finish.
Guys,
concluding.
the show is
We
closing
have
in 2
men,
minutes.
men of God in Kampala who claim to be men of God. In fact, we have fake masters, these fake pastors in Kampala, collecting millions
So
and
they're
millions
doing
of
to
money
Ugandans.
from
Lies,
poor
that's
people.
propaganda.
From poor people. But they cannot for any, at one
So
moment,
which propaganda?
stand out with the oppressed. I really thank the Catholic Church because
right.
I am telling you, for the fear, sometimes I'm even amazed at some of these reverends, these Catholic priests. They have come out strongly to speak against the regime, and I've been scared that they're going to be carried away in drones, but they seem to be determined. So to the Catholic Church, kudos. And I think people now, Ugandans, you know who is standing with you, these so-called, people who come in and, these so-called pastors who think about only themselves. We need to pray for them as well. But at this point in time, anyone who is not standing with Ugandans, you're against them.
Yeah, you can
Thank you so
blackmail
much.
them, but
Thank
they
you
will
so
not
much.
stand with you.
Derek, thank you so much for coming. Mukasa, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Derek, you want to send greetings to someone?
Yes, I want to send greetings of people of California, and I want to inform inform them that there is one of the propagandists called Abe Walusimbi. He's organizing a victory party for Mr. Tibuhabura, and
That's in California?
In California, so people of California,
I think that party should not happen.
asking you, please
Watch
follow
out.
this up, and you know what to do.
Yes.
But do you have one for Boston?
I can
cannot
actually give
organize
you
one.
the address
I can
is
bet over him. He
14747
cannot organize one here.
Kittredge Street, Van
Boston
Nuys,
does not take
California.
Can I
Nonsense.
speak?
Please,
ask
do you
me.
have a victory party
Yeah,
for Mr.
we are
Museveni?
going to have a victory party.
When
You
is
give
that?
us the address.
Please give
Hold
us
on a
the
minute.
address.
Okay, when?
Hold on a minute. If I can be given a chance to talk.
All right.
So,
Wind up.
we realize most of the time the people we are dealing with are hooligans.
Just
so
like you.
every time we organize something, they got to come and play drama, and we call police on them. So in order to avoid police on them, we only organize it among ourselves, and then last
else
time,
do you
on the
have?
day we won, we had a party of about
Of about
80
two people.
2 people.
About
Wow.
80
Yes,
people.
two.
80 from
So
where?
Eight from where?
it's
Unless
not going to be
you
open to
book-
everyone?
No, because we have hooligans. Whenever we,
Yeah.
yes, you see on stage here.
No.
You
Okay,
see,
all
you
right.
can see
If
on
the
stage.
majority
You
of
don't have
us are hooligans,
hooligans.
I want
then
them-
let's
You are
be.
responsible
very
for the
much.
I want
Yes.
you that the hooligans
You
can
are
be
responsible
All right,
for the
but
hooligans.
we have to
You-
use
you
the
bred
propaganda
us.
next time.
they bred the
You gave birth
hooligans,
to us.
and they have to deal
Yes,
with them.
you have
But
to
I,
deal with
wa-
them.
I want to
Thank
thank you
you.
all for coming, and I hope that you will invite us for the victory party if it takes place.
Yes.
And let's keep our
You are
eyes
invited,
on the country
but
of
not
Uganda. Keep our eyes on Uganda. We have
We
the
don't,
people
we don't
coming
want to
in.
be poisoned. Who would want to go
We
to
have
be
the,
want
poisoned?
to
we
be
have
best
the
you did poison
sanctions
We
people.
don't want
coming
you there.
through.
That
And so
poison
much is
on the
happening.
dining,
So,
no.
They
thank you so
poison
much.
people.
We read your comments. There are so many. We couldn't respond to all of them. So many people were, saying this. People were asking where Sarah is hiding. I don't know why people are saying you're hiding.
Because my social media,
Your Facebook page is still down.
No, my social media, let me say this before you hang up. My social media has been off, and in about 3 days, I'm going to be back. And for me, I'm coming back full swing. I'm rallying every Ugandan who is ready. We need 1 million people.
All right.
We need
Thank
1
you so
million
much.
people. That is the last straw we need to take. We need 1 million people. The dictator has to go.
Thank
and
you so much.
It doesn't matter what it takes. The dictator has to
The
go.
radicals never win.
And we want to go beyond that. Thank you very much, and have a
We
wonderful
we
week
have
ahead.
won on cutting off the fan.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We'll see you again.